What's going on, people? I would like to welcome all of you to another Q11 edition of the Talk to Q radio show. My name is Quincy, and this is my show. And with the Q11s, what I like to do is interview people to expose my audience to new things. I talk to authors, entrepreneurs, entertainers, counselors, other podcasters, and sometimes just your everyday person who just has something to say about a particular topic. So it's an opportunity for you to get to know these people up and close and learn their story. What sparked the passion to choose a certain career, or what inspired them to write that book? Or why is this person so opinionated about a particular topic? So just sit back and enjoy the show, and please be encouraged to share. A lot of my guests, much like myself, kind of do their thing by word of mouth. So the more that you share, like, or comment on a social media post, then the more you can help me grow the show. And it also gives more support to the people that I bring on the show who are looking to get their services, products, and talents out to the masses. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. My guest is an intimacy and relationship coach whose goal is to create a fulfilling life of passion and enjoyment. She's the author of the book, Hookup Without Heartbreak. She is coming to us from the Empire State of New York. Please welcome Miss Lia Holmgren to the Talk to Q radio show, this Q11 edition. Lia, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. And I appreciate you taking the time to join the show. So let's start here first. How did you get into intimacy and relationship coaching? Did you start out wanting to pursue a career to benefit yourself, or was it always a plan to help others?
So, since I was a very young girl, I would say people felt very comfortable around me, and they felt like I'm not judging them, and they can open up. And I love to listen and give people advice and help as I could. So then when I was getting older and I was deciding about my career, I chose to go to psychology and study biology, psychology, and why I specialized in sexuality, because I felt like that field is very undervalued in the US. I moved here about 12 years ago, and I saw many people struggling with this topic that's quite intimate, and they had no one to talk about these topics with. So that's why I decided to go to that part of psychology.
Okay, now, quick question. Where are you from originally?
I was born in former Czechoslovakia, back in
Okay, so,
communism.
all right, so I'm just curious. Do you see some of the same relationship and intimacy issues here in the United States as you did at home?
Well, I left my country when I was very young, but one
Okay.
thing was for sure, that it was very repressed society. And I feel like there were huge double standards between males and females around sexuality, and that is still prevalent in the US as well, even now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the name of the book is Hookup Without Heartbreak: How to Feel Empowered After Casual Sex. What inspired you to put all of this on paper?
Well, after working as a coach for 10 years, I met so many women. They struggled with dating and sexuality, and they were ashamed. They had trouble to enjoy sex and go off for their desires. And they would come to me for coaching, and they felt dirty after having casual sex, or when they wanted to explore certain fantasies, they felt like they're not allowed to do so. And that's why I decided to help women and wrote the book, because I think that there should not be such huge double standard between male and female sexuality. Women are also allowed to explore, but sadly, through society, we think we are not allowed to do that.
Okay, so do you think that men and women approach casual sex the same way, or do they do so differently?
I mean, I don't want to generalize. There are always exceptions to the rule, but I feel like, yes, they do. I think it's this, maybe that expression stud versus slut attitude. When men are sleeping around, that's fine. They're even bragging about it with their friends, and it's okay. But if women would do it, she would be slut-shamed by men and women.
Okay,
So,
so um, regarding that, because you mentioned double standards, and there are definitely a lot of double standards in society when it comes to men and women. So, do you think it's a situation that this is something that may have been centered around religion that kind of started this whole process to where if a man does it, it's fine, but if a woman does it, she's looked at differently?
I think there is a big component to that too. But I've done a lot of research from anthropology and I looked at the religions as well. And religions started to say sex is dirty outside of marriage for both male and female. Many religions had this thinking, but as we were progressing, then suddenly there were only males that were ruling religions, like in old Rome, for example. And then suddenly this started shifting somehow towards that, oh, women are bad but men are not. And then you have like other religions where men are allowed to have many women, which is
True.
so I think there is a component to that. And I think, but men also feel sometimes dirty when they're having casual sex. And when I was coaching a lot of couples, they would even be ashamed together when they were dating. And I asked them, why are you ashamed to even pick a lingerie piece? They said, because of my religious background, I'm not supposed to do it. So there is a big component to that. Of course, it's not the only thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
so let's discuss women and casual sex. All right.
Yes.
As far as where a woman starts, I mean, how does a woman recognize a good candidate to approach for casual sex? Because as a guy, if you're attracted, you just go after her. But is it different for women?
I think that me personally, and also a lot of women I spoke to, they would want to have casual sex with someone. They don't necessarily want relationship, but we all want to feel respected. We might know that we are not the only one that man is sleeping with, but I still want him to make me feel special. Like be kind, be nice to me, be gentle. Like I think that women want a guy to care about them as human being as well, besides a sex object. And I think then they would be more prone to have sex with someone. And I think that's a good candidate. If man really cares about them as human being, it doesn't necessarily mean he has to date them seriously or marry, but just care about how are you doing, reach out sometimes and be kind.
Okay, so I guess how can a woman have casual sex without stunting her emotional growth?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
How can a woman have casual
Mhm.
sex without being hurt and stunting her emotional growth?
Well, I focus on that a lot in book. I think that having casual sex and being hurt or having strange feelings afterwards is all part of the growth. I think we are learning from pain and we are growing from pain, and it's all about how to manage the aftermath. Like we can have pain, but we don't have to. We can say, you know what, I'm feeling strange. I'm feeling awkward after this experience. Let me analyze why. Let me think about why do I feel that way? Do I really miss the man, or is it something deeper inside of me that I have from my childhood that is bothering me? Is it something that I need that I think the man can fulfill? So it's actually a very interesting self-growth experience to have a hookup and see how I react afterwards, and trying to grow and maybe give yourself a self-love or self-care.
Okay. So do you recommend that women get to know men before engaging with them in casual sex, or is it still okay to have a one night stand?
It depends on the woman. I think that why I wrote the book, I also wanted women to learn about pluses and minuses of casual sex, and if that's for you. Like if you're a woman and you want to hook up but you don't know if it's going to be for you, you can read and see what can happen, what can possibly go wrong, what can go right, and then you say, you know what, I think I can do this. Some women might say, you know what, it's not worth my struggle because I am getting more attached and I don't want to go through a month of pain or like self-growth. So I can't recommend to women to do it or not. I think that know yourself and decide.
Okay. Now, back to the book, Hookup
Mm-hmm.
Without Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Is there a certain chapter, I think, that you really felt good about writing? Is there one part of the book that kind of stands out to you more than others?
There are some parts. I mean, I was fascinated by the research about why women actually are more attached than men. And that was kind of my egoistic reason why I wanted to write a book too, because I wanted to know. I wanted to know, do we have different brain than men, or why do I feel like this? Why do I think about this guy for like a month after we had great sex? So that's like something I was very curious about. And then there was one part that was really difficult for me to write, but I think it was very important. When you're falling in love and he's not on the same page, you need to stop seeing him. And that is one of the most difficult things to do. And it was quite interesting for me to write, but I had to give women this advice. It's
Okay,
always
so
difficult.
let's go there for a moment. Um, he's not on the same page. He doesn't want what you want. So you're saying the best thing to do is just walk away and don't look back?
I think so, because if you're falling in love with someone, more you're going to see this person, more experiences you're going to create, more difficult it's going to be to you are really risking a heartbreak, not just like, okay, I'm attached for a couple of weeks. So I think if you feel like you're falling in love with him or with her, even it works for men too. This book is for women, but you can apply the same. You need to be honest with yourself and with that person and say, I think I'm growing feelings for you, and I think it's going to be hard for me afterwards. So what do you think? Where do you stand? Do we have a chance? Do you want to be something more than just a hookup? And if the party says, no, I'm absolutely not there, that's not going to happen, it's better to walk away, because it can get really, really painful.
And that seems to be the hardest switch to turn on.
Yeah,
Um, just to turn away from a situation you know is not any good for you
yeah,
and move on. Because so many times we want to hold out for hope that,
yeah.
okay, they're going to come around and
Hmm.
see things my way. And it rarely happens. So,
Yeah. Well, look, like if it's the first 2 weeks, usually men, they hook up, they don't want to go into relationships. And then you have great sex, you have great time, and a lot of times they will fall in love. But if this situation persists for 2, 3 weeks or a month and nothing is happening, if someone doesn't fall in love with you in a month, I don't think they will. If the sex is great, you have great time, you're laughing together, you're exploring, you have same hobbies, and that person is just not coming across for more, I don't think it's going to happen.
and
And it's hard, you're right. It's difficult, because if everything works well and it's great, it's so hard to walk away.
yeah, and I think it would be
No.
even worse if everything appears to be great, the sex is mind blowing,
Yeah.
and that person decides to ghost you. I mean, how do you pick
Yeah.
up the pieces after that?
It's so sad, but you know what? I told women in my book, if someone does it, be happy that they did it, because the personality and character of this human is not someone you want to have in your friend or in your lover. Like, I would not want to have a friend like that, to be honest with you. So you just got rid of one very mean person in your life. And that's good. It was an easy test.
Okay, all right. A
And
couple
don't
more.
take it personally, that's the biggest part. I mean, why did he ghost me? What did I do? No, no, no. You did not nothing. You are beautiful, amazing, and this person is crazy.
I think that's the problem with a lot of people. We take things so personally,
Yeah.
and it really
Yeah.
just, oh my goodness, just causes so many issues.
Yeah.
And so, do you think that a lot of women approach casual sex as a gateway to a relationship?
Yes, they do. And it's not good to do that, because you can get really hurt. As I said, you need to, as a very first number one tip for women, have your intentions straight with yourself. What do you want? Are you going to see this guy to have sex with him because you're craving intimacy? Are you lonely? Do you want to hang out? Or do you want to have a boyfriend or get married? Or are you just horny and you want to have sex? And if you're going to just have casual sex with someone you barely know because you are hoping for a boyfriend, that's not a good way to go. You might really get disappointed and hurt. If you just want to have sex for pleasure, go for it. It's fine.
Yeah, because as a guy, if you have the opportunity to have casual sex with someone or a one night stand, most of the time you're thinking to yourself, wow, I'm lucky.
Yes. Yeah, I
You
know.
know, and it's just that. Whereas maybe a woman may hold on to something a little more so. And again, it's probably not wanting to feel any type of shame afterwards or anything because of what society has kind of
Yeah.
instilled in us.
Yeah.
And it's all right. So speaking of shame, and a couple of more questions, and we'll wrap things up.
Hmm.
Speaking of shame, is shame part of the reason that some women have a hard time reaching satisfaction during sex? I mean, are they subconsciously holding back because of that shame?
100%. It's the worst. And so many women are ashamed. They're like, there's like this little voice somewhere in the background that's just like making them feel uncomfortable when they're having sex and they want to explore. And a lot of women will not ask for pleasure. They will not say, hey, how about you do this? This makes me feel good. The communication is suffering a lot because of the shame that's in our mind.
And so in casual sex, isn't that the perfect opportunity to experiment? I mean, isn't that the time you kind of let your freak flag fly and do whatever it is your heart desires?
100%. You're totally spot on, because if you barely know someone, you're not going to be thinking, oh, I can't say this. What if I never see this guy again? So why wouldn't I tell him about my fetish, for example, or that I want to be restrained or something crazy like that? I mean, I spoke to a lot of married couples as a coach, and what they told me, they said, I have this fetish and I wouldn't mind to do it with someone I have as a mistress, or I'm cheating on, but I would never ask my wife or husband to do this because I'm ashamed. I don't agree with that. I think we should be open to discuss our fantasies with our loved ones, because that's someone I live with, but people sadly think otherwise. And they're ashamed to be honest about what they want. So that's why, yeah, with someone you barely know, you can go totally wild and dirty and you're not as ashamed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it seems like so much of this is centered around what society has instilled in us as far as
Yeah.
shame and things of
Yeah.
that nature. So if a person has problems dealing with the shame that's been instilled in us, is that where you come in as a relationship and intimacy
Yeah.
coach to help? I mean,
Often.
where can they start to pick up the pieces? How can you help?
I just help people to love themselves and understand that this is I know it's very deeply rooted, but there is no place for shame of anything, in anything in life. People should not be ashamed for their sexuality, for their gender, for their orientation, for anything. I think we are all humans and we are allowed to have fun and pleasure. Like, we are allowed to ask for it too, and we deserve it. I mean, life is too short to not have fun and pleasure. So I try to help people to understand it and understand that they have to love themselves, because a lot of this has to do with self-love, you know and
Okay.
I love to help with this to people.
All right. Well, look, Leah, it's been a pleasure to speak with you. And I already know that I'm going to have a ton of other questions pop in my head like an hour from now. So I hope that you're willing to come back onto the show someday. But
Anytime. It's so nice to talk to you. You're super fun.
thank you. Well, let everyone know where they can find your book, Hookup Without Heartbreak: How to Feel Empowered After Casual Sex.
So the book is on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes and Noble, online, and pretty much all over the world at this point. But I think for the US, Amazon is the easiest. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And let everyone know where they can find you online and connect with you.
Simple website, my first and last name, liaholmgren.com. That's where you can find me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I'll make sure to, for my viewers and listeners, I'll make sure to link Leah's book on this episode show page over at my website at talktoq.com. And I would like to thank Lia Holmgren for joining us. And I thank you all for watching. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday week. You've been checking out the Talk to Q radio show. And we'll see you next time. Peace
Thank you
out.
so much. Happy holidays.